Good morning. Welcome to another kerfuffle webinar, and I am delighted today to have Jordan from Iamproperty Compliance, because of course Iamproperty is the Goliath these days, isn't it? The monster. You're not just auctions. You've got all sorts of strings to your bow, and you're looking after the incredibly important compliance department now, aren't you, Jordan, over there at Iamproperty?
That's right. Good morning, Simon. Yeah, so we're probably best known for auctions, I guess. We've been doing that for a long time. Worked with a couple of thousand estate agents on auction, but over the last few years, we've been innovating in different areas too. The area I look after is anti-money laundering compliance, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Perfect. And I've got a little slide our marketing team have put up there. And I jumped into this and I thought, yeah, the immediate thing that would wake me up at this early for me anyway. The average fine for breaking the non-compliance rather, 12,000 quid or imprisonment of up to 2 years or both. So you've got my attention.
Yeah, sure. So we the first thing I'd say is we do try not to sell the product on scaring people too much, but it is the truth. It is the truth of the matter. I mean, there's been some quite high profile cases, which I'm sure you're aware of in the trade press, where agents have been handed out some quite big fines. In theory, yes, if you breach your EML obligations, there is a chance of imprisonment, which obviously nobody wants. So we want to try and avoid that. Sorry, I'm talking over you. I've just realised I forgot something, didn't I? My cap. There we go.
We're going to have to start all over.
Have to start again. There we go.
No worry. My ego's not that fragile that it actually is, as we know. Okay, Jordan. So let's put a bit of context around this. And the thing I love about it, of course, is that this was very much a baby, an evolution, because as you mentioned, you've got all those thousands of estate agents, and they kept coming to you, didn't they, with these the repeat request? Can you help out in this compliance area? So it was very much born out of a real need from your client base.
That's correct, yeah. So as we work with quite a big network of agents, we're in quite a fortunate position because we can get feedback on what agents are looking for in terms of innovations in the industry, what problems they're facing at the moment, and how as a technology and software company we can create innovations that help resolve those problems and make their life a bit easier. I'd say it was probably around 2018, really, when we started to see a bit of a change where agents were getting more and more concerned about anti-money laundering compliance. As regulations got a little bit tighter, they became a bit more difficult to follow for estate agents. So it went from the days of just being able to get an ID, and that was fine for everything pretty much, to the point where you're having to do more complicated things like PEP and sanctions checks, verify people's ID, look at the level of risk that person is to your business. Yep. And that becomes a lot more difficult to do on a paper-based system. So really that's where an opportunities arose for us to create a software solution which makes things a lot quicker and easier in that respect.
And how's it been received by those? I mean, obviously it's going to be fantastic, but what is the hands-on advice that people are giving you of the service you're providing in this area?
Yeah, it's been really well received. I mean, we've been running the system for around a year now, but we officially launched back in February. So it's still a relatively new product to the marketplace, but since launching, we're close to 700 estate agents have signed up to use the service so far, and are using it on a regular basis. So it's been really well received. There's been very few agents who've started using it and then decided it wasn't for them, put it that way. So it's I think once you get into it, once you realize all the benefits it has to offer, you can see it's definitely a lot more of a slick process than maybe the paper-based forms that some people have used, but also some of the other competitor products on the market. I think one of the big differences with us is we've built it with estate agents in mind. Okay. So a lot of the other EML compliance systems are designed for just generic anti-money laundering. That might be if you're a solicitor, if you're in finance, if you're in a state agency. There's various different things that you could be doing with that, whereas ours is purely estate agency based. So it ties in a lot better to that industry model.
Okay, that makes sense. And so obviously one of the best KPIs you can get essentially from how well a supplier is doing is the low levels of churn. People ultimately using it and not giving it up is a great sign of that you've got something right, haven't you?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, we've got some great feedback as well from the agents we've been working with. We're constantly evolving the product too. So we're always doing updates and different variations. We've got a really big update coming next year, which is going to change things again and make it even more comprehensive and even more fantastic. I can't tell you too much about that today, but it is coming soon. So we've set up a pre-registration system where our agents can register to be the first people to find out about the latest innovations and updates, of which has been really popular so far. So it's clear agents are enjoying it, but also want to see what the future brings and how it develops too.
One day I'm going to ask somebody on this show and say, you know, what have you been up to? And said, well, we've developed it and then we just left it like that.
Yeah, no, it's certainly not the case with us.
No. That's a really good point, though, isn't it? Actually, you were probably known, as you said, for having been known from the auction side, and so you could be perceived as being, you know, a heavy human resource at giving advice in that area. But actually, underpinning I Am Sold, and indeed now Iamproperty, it has been that you've got a huge technical resource, a very talented technical resource, haven't you, that does underpin everything and help the efficiencies throughout the agency in the areas that you help them.
Certainly, that's right. I mean, we do have, there is human support available. So we have things like a helpline where people can call and get AML advice. We have a help desk system where people can message if they prefer that means of doing it. But in essence, the software does everything it needs to by itself anyway. So built into the system, we have things like a training section where agents can go on and get a load of educational resources, be that reading about AML if they want to learn a bit more about it. But we also have training videos. We also have training certification in anti-money laundering. So after agents have watched the training videos, they can do a test. And if they pass the test, they can get a certificate to say they've been trained in anti-money laundering as well. So it is a self-sufficient product, but we are still there behind the scenes. So should anyone need anything, they can always pick up the phone, send an email, drop a message through the help desk for us to assist as well.
And am I right in thinking it can be standalone? They don't have to be a client on the auction side. They can come to you direct and take advantage of that service.
Yeah, that's correct. It's interesting because we've got quite a big network of auction customers. You'd imagine that's who is using this system, but it's actually quite a mix. So we've had a lot of agents come to us from outside of our auction network as well, who maybe already have an auction solution, and therefore we're not the best choice for them in that regard. But when it comes to compliance, they've seen the system and thought this was ideal for them, even if they were outside of the network. So yeah, it's a totally standalone product. Even if you've got no existing relationship with us and no desire to develop that except for compliance, you can still come on board and use it. That's not a problem at all.
That's great, but actually, as well, it's important to point out, as you said, it's incredibly easy for those clients who are already Iamproperty clients, because I think I'm right. You've got it's helpfully there. I don't know, what do you call it on the dashboard? You've basically got a single login, haven't you, that enables you to actually.
We do, yeah. So that's something as the company's grown, obviously we've got different services, and we've been putting some work in over the last few months to really bring those together and make it easier for agents who want to use several services. So we now have a single sign-on platform where agents can sign in with one username, one password, and they can access all of the different services. Again, that's something that's going to be evolving further next year, which is part of the next set of innovations we have. But already it's all in one place, which makes it easier. I think, to be fair, even to agents outside of the network, having everything all in one place is one of the key benefits of this system. So a lot of the other anti-money laundering systems I've looked at, and a lot of the other processes, they require agents to jump around a lot between different websites, different systems, different forms. The beauty of this is it's everything in one place. So right down to getting land registry searches as well, that's built into the system. So you don't even have to log out of the system to do a land registry search if you want to get a title. You can actually do it within the system itself. So little things like that are just all designed to make agents' lives quicker and easier, and put less admin burden on them, so they can get back to the things they enjoy doing, like selling houses and renting houses.
Yeah, that's really important, that, because actually it's not just about saving time, which is obviously fantastic anywhere for anyone, but actually the minute you start putting those artificial barriers in place and you've got to do a bloody passwords, the bane of everyone's life, aren't they? Yeah. Actually, things get missed. Things get missed, things don't happen, and that obviously in an area like compliance, you just can't risk that happening, can you?
Exactly, it's very important you get it right. I mean, the way the system's laid out, it's designed to stop you making mistakes. So it takes the customer or the estate agent on a guided journey from start to finish on every AML step they have to follow. So right from the bare basics of the training for the staff, so that's the first step. They get trained, so they understand anti-money laundering compliance, they understand the obligations. Once they're trained, one of the next things they've got to do is they've got to look at the risk level that their clients are. So is your customer, be it a buyer or a seller, low risk, medium risk, or high risk? Well, we have a really easy way to check that. So we've got an inbuilt risk assessment system, which just asks a few questions and it churns out a result and says, right, this person is low risk, medium, or high. And off the back of that gives you some sensible steps that you can follow to verify this person's identity. So if they're low risk, there's only a couple of steps to follow. If they're high risk, there's a few more. But either way, it takes you on a guided journey where you literally follow the steps from start to finish. And at the end, you get a result, which is usually, yes, this person's verified. You can move on and continue with your day-to-day life. And you know that you followed every step. So it's a bit like an insurance policy, I guess. Yeah. You're paying a little bit of money to use it. It's not very expensive, but you're paying a bit to do these checks. But when you've done them and you've followed the correct steps, it gives you a bit of peace of mind that if HMRC do come knocking and they want to do an audit on your files, you can say, yeah, no problem. Here's my risk assessment. Here's all the steps that I've followed. You can save that on the system. You can print it out, whatever you need. So everything's there from start to finish, fully audited and easy to check should you need to revisit those files in the future.
Sounds great, and that's a proper guided process to keep you out of jail. What could be better?
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
I'm having a vision here, though, Jordan. When you were talking about that, the single sign-in, I'm just picturing a wonderful pink login there for kerfuffle for your members. So you need to go and tell Jamie and Ben there that's. I can see that happening now. We need to apply the pressure there for them. Anyway, sorry.
I think that's a good idea. Well, I've got the cap and I've got a cup now as well. So we just need the website to match and where we're sorted on.
We don't bother going to them. We'll make it happen in the background. Good. Well, look, Jordan, it sounds absolutely fantastic. Final thing, obviously, for me to say, let's just have a look at your landing page. So you can reach out to, obviously, Jordan in the normal place from their own company. But yes, of course, you can go via the kerfuffle landing page here. They've got two pages, one for their, obviously, the I Am Sold auction side. They've got one here for the compliance. And I can't help noticing, Jordan, we have got a fantastic kerfuffle deal there, haven't we? A nice free trial of your compliance service, which includes 20 free credits, haven't we?
Yeah, that's correct. So if an agent's interested in seeing how the service works for them and how it could benefit their business, they can reach out to us via that link. We will carry out a free demonstration so that in this day and age, it's not face-to-face. It's done through a chat similar to what we're on at the moment. We can screen share, we can demo the system, show them what it looks like from start to finish, give them some basic training so they can get started. And then we give them enough credits to do their first few searches so they can use the system with no obligation. If they decide after doing the searches they don't want to use it, that's fine. If they like what they see, they can then go on to purchase more credits. So the way the system works from a cost point of view, there's no upfront cost, there's no ongoing financial commitment. You simply buy credits which allow you to do EML checks when you need to use them. So if an agent uses the free credits, they decide they want to buy some more, our packages start from £50. So they could buy £50 worth of credit, and that would get them started on the system. And again, at any point, if they decided it wasn't for them, they could simply walk away. There's no ongoing commitment there.
Perfect. So simple, even I can understand that model. So congratulations on that. Well, that's fantastic. Again, anyone interested, there's that wonderful big pink button in the middle. I'm interested, contact me. Do that. We'll forward on, obviously, any queries. Encourage anybody, whilst we're coming into a bit of downtime in December, perfect chance to give this a go, decide whether this could be part of your strategy and partnering up for 2021. So, Jordan, fantastic for obviously catching up with you again. Do keep us updated when you can talk about your other exciting revelation. You've teased me enough there now. And as I said, congratulations again on obviously getting the top 40 over at EA Masters.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for the time.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.